gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ tá a jọ ń káàkiri ọ̀dọ́jọ́ ni wá ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba Fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú jòyè mọ́ nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba tá à ń bú jòyè èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bọ́mọ pẹ́rẹ́ mi padà ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ bolóṣèlú kankan ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ ọba ò lè sọ ìjòyè lè sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá jà mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ bú wọn mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ àṣẹ wọn àwọn ará pẹ̀lú wọn àwọn àgbà tán bá jó lóṣèlú tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ á gbé wọn mọ́ra á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́ ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ àṣejẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ mọ̀ jẹ́ àdàlúrú a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́ mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá big man ni mí àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀ pé sọ́wọ́ ni mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́ mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ kí n wọ gbowó kí n gbéra kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba àgbowó mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀ kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀ kí Fúlàní mọ́ da mi dúró títì kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́ wọn ò lè lóńdò ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wa lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ Jésù Olúwa wa.
KOIKIMEDIA, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwa sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
KOIKIMEDIA, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, kìnìún ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó dorí kodò bí àdán, ọgbẹ́jẹ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè gbó Odùduwà.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wa.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣe gírí, ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí, ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀, àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
KOIKIMEDIA, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wá kájé gbúgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. KOIKIMEDIA, ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o, máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi, ṣẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé máa dé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ máa wọ̀ máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ kájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀, àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. ní lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o Koiki Media ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Òdùwà ni wá o tọkàntọkàn.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ òòdùn kan kí oko lára ni.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́ àwa ní bàbá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹ gbé polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Odùduwà lágbèdá ní òtítọ́ lágbèdá ní.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀ a kì í sódìkẹta.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdúró tán a tún pèrègèdè.
Koiki Media àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media we bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ní bàbá.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us latest.
Is around
To
o.
give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
Koiki Media is around.
To give us latest.
Okay, a very good morning. I have about an hour for the presentation. Mokiwa pé ṣe dáadáa ni àti ní àǹfààní àti ìbára wa ní èní. Èní ní ọjọ́ kẹfà nínú oṣù kẹta ọdún 2024 tí a mọ̀ sí mẹ́rìndínlógún according to the what ṣe sọ fún wa. Let's look at the benefit of pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nigeria. Many people ask the reason why we cannot stay in Nigeria when there's so much benefit. What are the benefits in Nigeria apart from the fact that our identity has been stolen away from us? My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. If you're new to the platform, this platform discusses nothing less than self-determination. Self-determination is a right, is an inalienable right. Many countries around the world that were joined together by the British during the 200 years of their empire. Many of them have been free today. America is free. India is free. Many other countries are free. But Yoruba people, we are not free. We still remain under the bondage of the British system that was set up not to favor the Yoruba people. And this is the reason why we will make sure we enlighten, we educate, we continue to share as many information that can literally open the minds of many of our people. So when you look at the map in front of you right now, what you can see are all the countries around the world, from India, Brazil, many countries, Pakistan, that the British colonized for a very, very long time. A very good morning and welcome. I will not be able to mention names because there is no time for that this morning. First and foremost, let me take us back again to the first presentation, the benefit of Yoruba nation. Some of those benefits are the ones in front of your screen. I'll be reading them out as we've done in the past before. Once again, appreciation continues to go to all our leaders that continue to give us the support that we are better off. We can compete with Singapore, we can compete with Qatar, we can compete with Saudi Arabia. We have whatever it takes. But the present Nigeria will not give you that competition as Yoruba people. Really compete. If you remain in Nigeria, you will continue to enjoy the Premier League as against having our own system where many people around the world can come and enjoy the same Premier League. If we remain in Nigeria, we will not be able to grow as fast as we want because Nigeria will continue to lock us into a fraudulent system. Our true identity is no longer in our hands, but Tabatigba Yoruba country, whatever you want to call it, Oduduwa Republic, whatever it is, that will give us the true picture of who we are. When we talk about the benefit of Yoruba nation, it is not because of the Fulani that is killing us. Tabani country Tiwa, we will be able to deal with all those atrocities. We will have our own stock market. We will have our own security that will not be a security that continue to extort and kill many Yoruba people and other indigenous people because we are not tribes and we are not tribes. We are people that were there before the English people came and set up their own system of government. If we have a Yoruba country, we will be able to have our own passport as against the fraudulent Nigerian passport that does not work for me, neither does it work for you. When we have our own government, we will be able to look after ourselves just like the British is looking after their citizens through the NHS. So many opportunities will be there. It is time that the Yoruba now exit and protect our culture. Asking for dissolution is not a war. We will not be the last country to ask for that. Some of those benefits, our Yoruba identity will come back to us. We will be able to have our own identity. The present identity that we have today does not represent us as true Yoruba people. The present identity today only indicates what the British created for their own selfish gain. Nigeria remains a corporate entity. If you go to Germany, their identity are Germans. If you go to Spain, their true identity are Spanish. If you go to Italy, their true identity is Italian. How and where is the true identity of Nigeria? And let's play this just to buttress that conversation. We are not one, and we can never be one until we have nations coming out of Nigeria. Are we Nigerians? Let's listen to this.
There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves.
We are not Nigerian.
Okay, where is Nigeria where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria had not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.
You've just listened to someone that proved that we are not Nigerians, but because Nigerians think that because we were born in that mere geographical location, according to the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, many of you think that we are Nigerians. We are not Nigerians. We are Yoruba people. We are Igbo people. We are Hausa people. Nobody knows where the Fulani came, because Fulani was never part of the picture when the system was set up. Fulani are like gypsy that travel around and try to take what does not belong to them. So each time we talk about whether we are Nigerians or not, even the former president, Jonathan, said that it is only the British intention to keep us together as one Nigeria. And this is what Jonathan said to prove that.
Thinking about how we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders. And I feel that probably this will help us to have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought four, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement, Nigeria is not a nation. It's a mere geographical expression. There are no Nigerians in the same sense as there are English, Welsh, or French. The word Nigerian is merely a distinctive appellation to distinguish those who live within the boundaries of Nigeria from those who do not. This is accredited to Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the former Prime Minister of the Western region. The second one, and I quote, it is true that we politicians always delight in talking loosely about the unity of Nigeria. 60 years ago, there was no country called Nigeria. What is now Nigeria consisted of several large and small communities, all of which were different in their outlooks and beliefs. The advent of the British and that of Western education has not materially altered the situation, and the many and varied communities.
All right, not sure what happened there, but it seems okay. I think I know why. We'll leave that. We'll move swiftly because of the time. Is coming up to exactly 19 minutes past. So when we talk about our identity, are we fighting because we hate Nigeria? No, we are fighting because we want to secure our true identity. Our true identity has been taken away from us, and it is our fundamental right to take that identity back as quickly as possible. It is just too late to restructure Nigeria, as many of you continue to try to want to restructure what was not meant to be. Nigeria was not meant to be, but what the British did was to make sure that our culture was taken away from us. Our language was removed from us. And today, many Yoruba people who tell this, so if we remain in Nigeria, we will secure that language, because when you travel around the world, like I have been to some countries, especially Turkey, when you get to Turkey, they speak their language. Not that they don't speak English, but their language is what they use even when you fly on the Turkish airline. But today, we have the Igbos, we have the Hausas, we have all those different, over 300 different languages. And you're expecting to secure a better country. Your language is the first thing that must be secured. And that is the reason why, if we lose this opportunity during our generation, which we are not going to anyway, but we just expect many people to come together so that we can live together. Let's look at this video, Iwo Eleru, somewhere in Ondo State, that talked about something that has been there for thousands of years. And I hope I still have the video in my archive. All right, I think I've taken it out. I'll leave that.
This is a
replica
of a skull from Nigeria. And it was dug up in 1965 by Thurston Shaw and his team, an archaeologist. It is about 13,000 years old. And my colleague Katerina Havati used a new technique of digitizing the surface of the skull in 1972. And she found, as I did, that it does not look like recent African material. So here we've got a recent African skull, and here's the skull from Iwo Eleru in Nigeria. You can see that this skull is much longer, it's much lower. And all in all, it's got a much...
What you've just been watching is Iwo Eleru. That score, Tiwo Tony Kakuro Kadrosino Nigeria, that score, we cannot even compare the age of that score with Nigeria. That score is about almost 4,000 years old. So are you saying that we should throw away all that so that we can live in Nigeria as one country so that the West can continue to manipulate us? Or are you going to be one of those that will sit upright and leave sentiment about those that are fighting for this movement and join the movement from whatever angle you feel you can join? There is no amount of election that can rectify the damage in Nigeria. There is no amount of many Yoruba presidents that you bring there that will be able to fix the problem. The problem is just too late. Let's go back and listen again from the beginning. Iwo Eleru tó bá gbọ́rí lọ Ondo State. Wọ́n mọ́tò kò lọ síbẹ̀. Kò ní kó mú ẹ lọ sí ibi tí wọ́n ti detect Iwo Eleru. We are waiting for the Oyibo people to come and tell us, the same Oyibo people that created the crime against humanity, the same Oyibo people that damaged and took us as slaves, where Church of England is now apologizing for using their church to buy slaves from West Africa and many other parts around Africa. That has now been something that we find out after so many investigations.
Well, what we could call primitive appearance, even though it's only... This is a replica of a skull from Nigeria, and it was dug up in 1965 by Thurston Shaw and his team, an archaeologist. It is about 13,000 years old. And my colleague Katerina Havati used a new technique of digitizing the surface of the skull in 1972. And she found, as I did, that it does not look like recent African material. So here we've got a recent African skull, and here's the skull from Iwo Eleru in Nigeria. You can see that this skull is much longer, it's much lower. And all in all, it's got a much more what we could call primitive appearance, even though it's only 13,000 years old. And in Katerina's analyses, she found that the nearest neighbour, in terms of the overall shape of the skull, was this specimen from Tanzania, from a site called Ngaloba, which is, we think, about 140,000 years old. So you've got a specimen that's only 13,000 years old, but it looks like it should be, you know, another 100,000 years older in terms of its shape.
So what's going on?
So this suggests that human evolution in Africa was more complex, that the transition to modern humans was not a straight kind of transition and then a cut-off. The archaic humans did not necessarily die away once they'd given rise to modern humans. They may have been living in some parts of Africa alongside, in a sense, their descendants, and perhaps exchanging genes with them. Just as Neanderthals seem to have interbred with people outside of Africa, archaic humans in Africa could have been interbreeding with modern humans inside of Africa, and this skull may show a reflection of that interbreeding between archaic and modern humans.
So what you've just been listening to is part of what 13 Sofwin, I was even saying 4,000, 13,000 years. Ni score there 13,000 years. So are you saying to me that can't forget about all that and let us save Nigeria? Who are you literally trying to save Nigeria to? Once again, my name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. This program ends at exactly 7 o'clock in the morning, and we are just about some 24 minutes into the program. I will not be able to start mentioning your names, but I say good morning to each and every one of you that have joined this morning, and those of you that will be watching it later on as well. And the time, because we are very pressed with time and I have other things to do. Let's move swiftly. Let's go straight to Church of England. Church of England is a very powerful institution in UK. And as at yesterday, a lot of reports came out from different news networks around the world regarding what happened during the slave trade. Today, as many of us that lives in UK and asking those questions that we've been asking for a very long time, is it more than enough that they are now paying over just 100 million for the crime against the atrocities that the church did during their time. That is the BBC, because that is the only one you guys like. You love BBC so much because you believe in whatever news come out of BBC, but you find it very difficult to believe in the news coming out of KOIKIMEDIA and the rest of my platforms. Because if you do, you will do as much to make sure that when we are live, you share the program and you invite your friends. But when it's BBC Yoruba, Yoruba program, you are going to be sharing it because you want somebody else to come and watch what BBC Yoruba that I am funding. I am the one funding BBC Yoruba from London because we pay the TV license that allows BBC Yoruba to operate. So let's go further. Let's first look at some of those headlines as we have it. But yesterday, BBC says, church fund not enough to right slavery wrongs. According to Nathan Sandley, the £100 million earmarked by the Church of England for a new investment fund to help repair the damage caused by historic links to slavery is not enough, according to the report. This was also posted right inside the Church of England X, which is the former Twitter handle, yesterday, with about 263,000 people that have retweeted. But in that Yoruba on the time, I was still on Twitter. We are wasting too much time when we should be on Twitter. Our lawyer come out of comments here about churching, but we are so much busy with gossip and other things when we should be on Twitter. For some Yoruba suffering over 3 years now. Register on Twitter, which is now called X, so that when you see this kind of post, we go underneath and we comment as much as possible. But rather, we are not there. And as you can tell, many of those that have commented from different parts of the world are now asking so much question. This one says, and I quote, "After much prayer and reflection and consideration, I have decided I will be leaving the Church of England. This is not a decision taken lightly and comes after thoughtful deliberation about my spiritual journey and the direction in which God or in which church is moving. Over the years, I have been deeply valued the sense of community, spiritual growth, and the opportunities for service provided by the church. The teachings and the traditions of the Church of England have been a fundamental part of my spiritual life. I am grateful to the support and the guidance and I have received from the clergy and the fellow parishioners. However, I have found myself increasingly at odds with what I perceive as the church shifting focus towards embracing certain social and political stance. If you have become woke and have strayed into the path of outright yes, while I fully support the church mission to advocate for justice and mercy in the spirit of Christ's teaching, I feel that the balance has shifted in a way that no longer aligns with the teaching of the gospel, instead becoming solely focused on pleasing the political establishment. These divisions has led me to difficult conclusion that my spiritual growth and relationship with God will be better nurtured in a true, holy Catholic and Apostolic church. My decision will bring in me in line with the teachings and practice of the true Christian faith and doctrine. I pray for what is left of the Anglican communion, you have destroyed it." When we are saying that the Church of England and many of what happened during the empire is the reason why Africa is backwards. The next one, let me pick one again. According to Phil Taylor, I don't get the chat jargon. Is non-chattel enslavement morally different to chat enslavement? Is this just a trick to exonerate African slavery, without which there could have been no Atlantic slavery? Many of you that wants to remain inside Nigeria, you are actually part of the slave that the Church of England paid a lot of money through many companies and become what led to the Church of England today. So let's go into the real article that came out. This is what came out from the Church of England themselves. And I'm going to be reading that in just about a few minutes. Once again, my name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. So let's read it quickly. And it goes like this. This is the Church Commissions for England warmly welcomes oversight group report. And this was just less than 48 hours ago, on the 4th of March 2024. Recommendations will shape the new fund for healing and repair and justice. As long as we remain in Nigeria, like one of my auntie in Newcastle said, we don't even need the money. We just need to be free from the bondage of the 1914 fraudulent amalgamation that was put together by the British for their own selfish interest. That is more than enough for us. We just want to be free and go back to who we are, secure our culture, secure our true identity. If Church of England can help us to say that out, that is more than enough. They can give the rest of the money to whoever wants it. But as Yoruba people, what we need is for them to come out and tell the government of UK and the king that Intiwo Dasile, let them now come and resolve it. It can be resolved. Many of us talked about the fraudulent 1914 amalgamation. It was not by Lugard. It was by the British Parliament right here in UK. The British Parliament had the say to dissolve or de-amalgamate Nigeria, but they are not going to do it because they have not even done the one for Scotland yet. Why do you think they will tell you that they should dissolve Nigeria? But it is easy for Nigerians to come and tell us to go and sign a petition. I will not sign any petition in this country anymore because those petitions is not going to take you anywhere. But into my keyword response, it would happen at the appropriate time, and everybody knows what that is. So let's go back again to this report. The Board of Governors of the Church of England Commission has warmly welcomed the report of an independent oversight group, the recommendations from which will shape the new fund for healing, repair, and justice. The oversight group were asked with advising on the Church of England Commission response to its historic links with African chattel enslavement. In seeking justice for all, we must continue to work together, remembering that all created in the image of God, said the Most Reverend Justin Webley, the Archbishop Canterbury and the Chair of Board of Governors. Maybe if some of you do not remember the face of that Justin Webley, I'll take you back to some of the image that you probably remember very well. And that is his image with former demon, former President Muhammadu Buhari. Each time he arrived in London, that is the Church of England sitting right with a satanic man called Buhari. So I don't understand how a Church of England sat with the evil man they call Muhammadu Buhari, dead or alive. The one that created the Fulani terrorists in Nigeria. Was the Church of England part of the plan to make sure that they destroy all the Yoruba territory? Or am I just thinking like that? Because each time I see Church of England represented by Justin Webley with former president call himself Buhari, the evil man that was put there even in the 80s by the West to overthrow the government. But many Yoruba people are stupid, idiots. They cannot think from their ass. You are looking at the picture of Church of England that have literally come out now to say that we are sorry for being part of the slavery. The slavery never ended because Church of England was still having a cordial relationship with President Muhammadu Buhari throughout the 8 years he was traveling to UK. He was well welcomed, and these are all the images to prove that. These are not doctored images. These are images with Buhari, dead or alive, with Church of England head, Justin Webley. Justin Webley was also one time in Shell. Maybe some of you never know that. Let's go back and look at when he was a member of Shell Petroleum Company in Nigeria. Idiot all over the place, and you come here and be telling me nonsense. Justin Webley, as is known. When we go back through, his relationship with Shell. Once again, a very good morning and welcome to the program. Webley experienced them from his time before joining the clergy when he worked in the oil industry in the 1980s, as at that time President Buhari was the military dictator, when this same man That is how they became friends, or only God knows if it is all part of the setup. So the idiots Yoruba people that we are talking to, they sit here in UK and they're telling us to keep quiet, but knowing fully well that there is a link between these Justin Webley, because he was one time in the oil industry right in Nigeria in the 80s to become a treasury of the Enterprise Oil and Exploration and Production firm that was later taken over by Shell in 2002. My question to many of us now is there even a link with Church of England and President Buhari, the evil monster that created so much Fulani terrorists right inside the Yoruba land? So each time we come out and say we are being killed by Fulani terrorists, why is Church of England not coming out to speak about it? Why are they keeping quiet? I'll leave that for you to think in your heart. Let's go back again. In seeking justice for all, and there will never be justice until the dissolution of Nigeria. The longer we remain in Nigeria, there will never be peace. When we break away from Nigeria, we will find peace among ourselves. In seeking justice for all, we must continue to work together, remembering that all created in the image of God, said the Most Reverend Justin Webley, the Archbishop of the Canterbury and the Chair of the Board of Governors. The oversight group's independent work with the church commissioners is the beginning of multi-generational response to the appealing evil. Did you hear the word evil? Because today, the evil committed is still going on, as many of you want us to remain in Nigeria in that evil contraction, where even as of yesterday, one monolonino Senate Unive from bastard country. I don't know how you want us to stop the evil if you remain in Nigeria. If you have a country, yes, let there be evil in our own country. There's evil in this country because there's so many crime that goes on in this country that sometimes you wonder whether this is still a country. But yet, they are able to manage it. But telling us to manage a contraction like Nigeria, where the governor of Kaduna State, the former governor, El Rufai, said, and I quote, that there will never be a Christian governor in Kaduna State. Is that the kind of society you want us to live with? Where they are presently having their own Sharia, like I said yesterday during the video that we played from our brother Baba Ropore yesterday. And let's go back and watch that video briefly. So what is actually wrong with the Yoruba people? Why are we sitting on a time bomb when we can all come together and say enough is enough? Let's watch what this pastor said yesterday in this particular broadcast that we were able to use, and we're going to use it again this morning. Let's listen to this.
Because it will affect even himself. It will affect all the APC powers. It will affect all the MDs of banks. The MDs of banks are the destroyer of this system. The powerful, the high and the mighty. He is stepping on their toes. I pray God give him the grace to do it. The next thing he should do, tell him if you know him, is to restructure this country. Nigeria is a fraud. One particular tribe repressing the whole of us. Did you hear what Central?
Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, Akérédolú kọ́ làwọn fọ̀rún kẹ́. Bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ó lọ rèé fọ́lọ́ burúkú láyà. Ṣùgbọ́n ó ti dèrò lẹ̀. Ikọ́ ti ja Akérédolú tán nísìnyí. Bí bá ń fìdí ìfà yóò ti dọ́run. Ayé ò lọ bí ọ̀pá àbọn Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu. Ẹ ṣeun tó yẹ ká ẹ ṣe kó tó pẹ́ jù. Ẹ gbọ́ ni. Akérédolú sì ṣòfin wípé a ò gbọ́dọ̀ rí open grace. Àwọn ará bí ò sì gbọ́. Wọ́n sì ń kó wọn. Tírélà ni wọ́n fi ń kó wọn wọlé lóru. Ìwọ wá ní ìwọ ìjọba àbílẹ̀. Ìwọ sínétọ̀, wọ́n ń bí bàbá ńlá bàbá kú ẹ̀yin sínétọ̀ dá ká ẹ fẹsẹ̀ rìn òpó náà mẹ́ta ládùúgbò yín tí wọn ò bá ní jẹ yín tútù ẹ̀yin kìíní jàti èkejì ajá yìí.
Bank governor wants to do just a department, the operation department of Central Bank, to be moved back to Lagos, where you have 99% of the headquarters of bank. The north is agitated. Don't take Abuja back to Lagos. They don't care. If you all become beggars, it's okay for their oligarchic mentality. I talk like no other pastor talk. I talk like no other pastor talk. Because I have seen into governance, I have seen into the church. And I know where the problem is in this country. Are you hearing me? They may not like what I'm saying, but they cannot dispute the truth. This country cannot go on like this. Okay, I was talking about those who migrated. I don't blame those that want to japa. You know, initially I was saying don't japa. Do you hear me say that again? Japa if you want to japa. Because you look at the country and say, what future? If it goes on like this, what future? If it goes on like this, civil war is imminent. If it goes on like this, military intervention is imminent.
Exactly.
Do we want to go back to that? No.
Let me pause that. Each time I come out and I say that there's likely going to be a war in Nigeria, idiots all over the place, they are quick to come and tell me, Olonija Arogu, you are sitting on a time bomb and you're likely to see a war. You heard what that pastor said there. Let me rewind that bit a little bit. There is an imminent war because first and foremost, Church of England, as we've been talking, we're going to come back to that video in just about a few minutes. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, and we just have less than 15 more minutes before the end of this program this morning. Church of England, let me read that quickly. The Church Commissioner particularly welcomed the clear-sighted ambition of the group and its hope for the scale and impact for the fund for healing, repair, and justice, acknowledging suggestions around more widely ranging research and truth-telling must be taken as seriously as financial ambitions reflect the recommendation. Truth-telling, I want us to take note of that word. Òtítọ́ máa sòtítọ́, ẹ̀yin dúró de àwọn church yín kó sòtítọ́ fún yín, ẹ̀yin dúró de àwọn mọ́ṣáláṣí yín kó máa sòtítọ́ fún yín. Àwọn ò ní sòtítọ́ because òtítọ́ ló korò jù. And that is why this morning, you will see millions of you this morning. The church, when you should be listening to the truth from this platform and all the medias that are asking for the Yoruba people to be free from the bondage of what the British created in the first place, and the Church of England funding that part of slave trade. Because what the Church of England was doing is, was supporting become Akweruwa Lati Africa Jade Sita. The recommendation of the oversight group were informed by people from all over the world who responded to survey or attended focus groups. The church commissioner wishes to express his thanks for the oversight group dedicated work to involve impacted communities. My community was impacted, which is our Yoruba. But sure, no, we want to be free. Free exactly is the word, so that we can control our resources, set up our own system of government, and work on our own terms and conditions with whichever country we want to work with. But the idiot Yoruba people, and you think that you can work with Nigeria, with America. America does not care whatever happens to your life. UK does not care, just like the 27 European countries. But we can have our own ways around. So a full press release from the Independent Oversight Group launches recommendations to church commissioners to address the legacy of African chattel enslavement. Church of England investment harm accept the full report in full. So Church of England has admitted ǹjẹ́ àwọn chọ́ọ̀chì tí ní Nàìjíríà ǹjẹ́ àwọn náà tẹ̀ admit pé wọ́n kó wa lẹ́rú àbí wọ́n kàn sọ fún yín pé ká máa wá Ọlọ́run tó máa fi orí jì wá torí pé àwa la ṣẹ̀. Èmi ò mọ̀ bí táwa ti ṣẹ̀, because each time you go back and listen to some of the rhetorics that some of your pastors are saying pé a ṣẹ̀ k'Ọlọ́run kó forí jì wá, ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn pé níbo la ti ṣẹ̀ àti pé àwọn wo la ṣẹ̀. Ṣáwa ṣẹ̀ ni Church of England ló ṣẹ̀, but rather than hold the Church of England responsible, ṣe ni wọ́n kó gbogbo àpapọ̀ bí bàbá ẹ̀ ṣe sọ pé àwa la ṣẹ̀. Ẹja àgbọ̀n tó sọ níbí.
Almighty God, we are suffering. Have mercy. Enough is enough. Almighty God, hey, please have mercy. Ṣàánú, Ọlọ́run ìyanu ṣàánú. Àjẹ̀bí, àríbì kankan sá sí, ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jọ̀ọ́, nítorí orúkọ Jésù Kristi, ẹ ṣàánú fún wa. Ẹ jẹ́ á ráàánú gbà. Ẹ ṣàánú orílẹ̀-èdè wa, ẹ ṣàánú ẹbí wa, ẹ ṣàánú ìjọ Ọlọ́run, ẹ ṣàánú wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan. Olódùmarè ẹ ṣàánú o, ẹ ṣàánú o, Ọlọ́run ìyanu ẹ ṣàánú o, ẹ sọ òkùnkùn wa dì mọ́lẹ̀. Ọlọ́run ìyanu, ìnira yìí ti pọ̀ jù. Olùdáǹdè ẹ ṣàánú, ẹ foríjì wá, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ sọ òkùnkùn wa dì mọ́lẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn tó ń tẹ̀ wá mọ́lẹ̀, àwọn tó ń rẹ́ wá jẹ, ẹ ṣàánú. Ọlọ́run Olódùmarè ẹ ṣàánú. Àjẹ̀bí o, àwa ló jẹ̀bi o, Olódùmarè àjẹ̀bí. Àwa la múnú yín dùn, ó ní wàhálà fi dé. Dípò ká sọ pé ẹ jọ̀ọ́, níṣẹ́ là ń sọ pé ńbo lọ́lọ́run ọ̀hún wà, ńbo lójú ẹ̀ wà, kí ló dé tó ń wo gbogbo eléyìí tó ń lọ yìí tí ò ṣe nǹkan. Bàbá ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ẹ ṣàánú o, ẹ ṣàánú Nàìjíríà o, Olódùmarè ẹ ṣàánú orílẹ̀-èdè wa. Ọ̀gá ògo ẹ ṣàánú orílẹ̀-èdè wa, ẹ ṣàánú wa, ẹ ṣàánú ọmọdé, ẹ ṣàánú àgbà, ẹ ṣàánú mẹ̀kúnnù, ẹ ṣàánú àwọn tí ò nípá, àwọn tí ò lólùrànlọ́wọ́. Ọ̀gá ògo ẹ ṣàánú wa o, ẹ̀yin nìkan ṣoṣo náà nìrànlọ́wọ́ wa o, ẹ ṣàánú o, Olódùmarè ẹ ṣàánú.
The weight of Nigeria is not the weight that any normal, ordinary human being can carry, except with the help of Almighty Allah. It is evident, therefore, that the Almighty Allah is with our president.
So you can see, rather than them coming out, just like Church of England has done in the last 48 hours, it took a lot of investigation. I was not part of that investigation, but it took a lot of people to work tirelessly day and night, just like we are working tirelessly day and night, to say that the only truth is for Yoruba people to regain back their full control, independent, territorial ground that the West took away from us in the last 110 years. Following his appointment last year by the Church of England Church Commissioner of England, an independent oversight group is today in Nijeta releasing his report and recommendation into how the body should implement a new impact investment fund. The fund and grant funding program are being set up as part of the Church Commissioner's journey to heal, repair the damage caused by the legacy of African chattel enslavement. The recommendation include recognition that £100 million initially earmarked by the Church Commissioner is not enough related to the scale of the Church Commissioner's endowment or of the moral sin and crime. I want us to take note of that, because the idiot people that we are talking to sometimes think that we just sit here because we hate Yoruba people. No. We are concerned because the sin and crime of the African chattel enslavement is not yet being resolved today. And the only thing that can resolve it is for us to get out of Nigeria as quickly as possible. And that the organization, in partnership with others, should target an initial of £1 billion and above. That the timeline for the delivery of the fund should be accelerated and deliver faster than the 9 years originally emphasized. What 13 the timeline gonna say? What another 9 years? Unbelievable. A call for the Church of England, and I want us to take note of this. A call for the Church of England, then the Church of England, to fully acknowledge and apologize for the harms caused by its historical denial that the Black Africans are created in the image of God, for its deliberate I want us to take note of that word, deliberate, nǹkan tó mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ ṣe. Because idiot of some of you, and I'm talking to idiot, and tó bá mọ̀ pé òun kì í ṣe idiot, kọ́ ni mo bá sọ̀rọ̀. I'm talking to those idiots that are called bomb bastards. Destroy the diverse African religious belief system. Oh, ẹ má ṣoògùn, ẹ má pa ètùtù, ẹ má ṣe this, ẹ má ṣe that. That is what they destroy. They actually destroy our own African religious belief system to facilitate work that builds the spiritual connection of Africa and the African diaspora with the gospel and despairs. Má lọ sọ́dọ̀ èṣù, má lọ sọ́dọ̀ Ṣàngó, má lọ sọ́dọ̀ Ọya, ọ̀dúró ti Jésù nìkan àti Jésù nìkan àti Jésù nìkan. Àwa ará àwọn Nollywood actor wá ṣe movie Jésù tó na èṣù pa. And that one went for a very long time. I am not here to tell you what to believe in. But Church of England, and I'm still going to come back and do a full more program on this because I haven't got the time this morning. Church of England. I mean, you can tell that Justin Welby àti Buhari ọmọ ìyá kan náà ni wọ́n. Because we knew that Buhari was a criminal that set up a system that created fraud, created corruption, not that ó jí owó nìkan. For 8 years of Buhari tenure, kò ń ṣe pé ó jí owó nìkan, ó destroy ilẹ̀ wa, ó fẹ́ pa Olóyè Ìgbòho. Èyí olùṣe lórí burúkú wọn sọ fún wa nísìnyí pé ẹ̀ka máa nífẹ̀ẹ́ Olóyè. Ṣé tó bá jẹ́ pé Buhari ti pa Olóyè àti Nnamdi Kanu? And this is why sometimes I say to some of you, dem máa wá pè mí lẹ́yìn pé ẹ yé máa sọ̀rọ̀ Nnamdi Kanu. Mo bẹ̀ yín torí Olódùmarè. Ẹ má yẹ kí n bínú sí yín gan. Because injustice to one is injustice to all. Justin Welby wà nílùú yìí tí wọ́n mú Nnamdi Kanu kò tí ì sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Justin Welby wà nílùú yìí ó ń pàdé Buhari dẹ̀ ló fẹ́ pa àwọn méjèèjì. So when we come out and say can I get involved, èmi ò mọ̀ nípa yẹn o, èmi ò mọ̀ nípa yẹn. This platform will continue to protect and talk about Nnamdi Kanu, and I will continue to say that to Chief Sunday Igboho to continue to voice out against the crime on Nnamdi Kanu. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ̀ lè fẹ́ gbọ́ ẹ̀kú lóye kẹsàn pé Koiki sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ one bastard ẹni ṣoríire. Ṣé nígbà tó bá yẹ pé wọ́n ti pa Nnamdi Kanu ṣé kò ń ṣe the same thing lọ́ fẹ́ ṣe fún olóyè náà tó fi wá pa sílé? But we are always like, oh, àfẹ́ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú Nnamdi Kanu. Kí ló ṣe? Kí ni ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ Nnamdi Kanu tí wọ́n fi pa? Nnamdi Kanu ò lo Nigerian passport mọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá mọ̀. Ó ti denounce Nigerian passport, British passport ló fi ń travel kó tó di pé ìlú ìkóba pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn tiẹ̀. But because sometimes a lè think, kò dẹ̀ ṣe pé a lè think, it's because the hatred ta ní fúnra wa, I understand that, but injustice to one is injustice to all. Bí mi náà bá wà nínú ilé Olóyè Ìgbòho, probability wa kò wá pa mí níjọ́ yẹn. A dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ pé gbogbo èèyàn ṣẹlẹ̀. So èyí tẹ̀ ń pè mí lẹ́yìn, mo bẹ̀ wá, mo rọ̀ wá lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Nnamdi Kanu, kò sí nǹkan tẹ́lẹ̀ sọ. I will continue to advise Chief Sunday Igboho to speak out on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ kú ni kẹ́ kú. Gbogbo ẹni wọ́n sọ lẹ́nu yìí. Ẹ lọ bẹ̀ Olóyè padà again. I will continue to tell him to speak out on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu because injustice to one is injustice to all. Injustice tó ṣe fún wa for slave trade. Òun ló lọ náà kan yẹn tí olóṣè olórí burúkú Buhari máa wá sí ìlú yìí. Tí Justin Welby máa bá ṣe pàdé. Bomb bastards. And I'll be coming back for a full program on this later on as well, maybe today or tomorrow. But one thing is, we will not lose our religious belief. Olóyè má wá sílé, Jésù sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. So tí Jésù bá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, ṣé Ifá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ pé kó má wá sílé? Ẹ̀yin lẹ máa sọ fún Ifá pé kó Olóyè wá sílé kó má wá sílé. Ojú ò tì í. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń ríran. Olóyè má wá sílé because belief ti yín tí Church of England gbélé yín lọ́kàn òun lè nílò yẹn. Àwa ò lo belief yẹn, àwa ń lo the African religious tá à ń pè ní Ifá tiwa. In tí Ifá bá dẹ̀ sọ ló máa decide. And I'm going to leave it like that this morning because I haven't got the time. I got to go now. My name is Olami Koiki, and I welcome every one of you as you're sharing the program. That is if you want to. Everybody share, that's up to you. Because àkókò sọ̀rọ̀ àlè fàṣà níbí báyìí, ọ̀rọ̀ liberation and so. But we hope that many of you will share the program. Thank you so much once again. Have a very good morning, and we will continue to secure, when I mean secure, with everything. Voice Minibibai is also to secure the release of Nnamdi Kanu by the present administration. And we know Bola Tinubu can do that. Kò sẹ́ṣẹ̀ kankan tó ṣe, ìwọ kọ́ kúkú kọ́ ló ṣẹ̀. You might have your own issues with them, but I haven't seen any reason why you should keep Nnamdi Kanu again. So we hope that this month, Nnamdi Kanu Mama Pada say court, he will be a free man. If not, Biafra máa ṣe ìtọ́fẹ́ ṣe fún Nàìjíríà. Ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá bí bàbá ẹ̀dá nígbà táwọn Simon Ekpa bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ kẹ́ sọ pé Simon Ekpa yìí ti Tinubu ìpè ní máa fún gbogbo yín lásìkò yẹn. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ tí wo state of address Simon Ekpa lánàá ẹ lọ wò. Gowon will be alive when they will declare their Biafra before the end of this year, according to them. And I will continue to work with them. Good morning. I will continue to work with them. Anybody fẹ́ kú kúnú yín, I will work with them. Torí pé ẹ̀yin nìkan ò lè dá ṣe. Èèyàn méjì fi lọ, ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ sowọ́ papọ̀, ká jọ lọ. Kò ṣe pé àwọn náà láníyàn tó bá ní opportunity wá gbomi mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́, wá gbalẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́, but we can stop them if we pull out together. Okay, wá máa sọ fún wa pé ẹ má bá wọn Biafra ṣe, ẹ má bá wọn ṣe torí pé wọ́n ń ṣe jọ̀gbọ̀n lókè lọ́hùn. No, wọ́n ò ní ṣe jọ̀gbọ̀n. Ṣé nígbà tí sójà bá ń pa wọ́n, kọ́ máa pa sójà padà. Tó bá lọ opportunity láti pa sójà, wá pa sójà. But because ẹ ní àyà, some of you, ẹ wá fífi tí kó bá wa torí pé tí Church of England ṣe, ò ní pé wọ́n gba ìṣẹ̀ṣe kúrò lọ́wọ́ tiwa, wọ́n gbé Jésù lé wa lọ́wọ́, and they are not going to apologize. And I hope that àwọn tó ń fà pẹ̀lú wọn níbí báyìí, they will fà dáadáa, because even 1 billion cannot cover the cost of the slave trade. Thank you so much. Good morning to everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day. Remember, this platform stands with the truth and nothing but the truth. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n tẹ̀lé wa lórí ìrìn àjò yìí. And then tó dẹ̀ ń béèrè pé nígbà wo ni Yorùbá Nation máa bọ́ sí. Well, ó kù sí èmi àti ẹ lọ́wọ́ nígbà tá a bá ti rẹ́dì àmọ́ tó yẹ ká ṣe. Àìtí mọ̀ tó yẹ ká ṣe, but ní tá à ń ṣe ó wà lára ní tí ó yẹ ká ṣe. But nígbà tá a bá mọ̀ tó yẹ ká ṣe, we will stop everything that they've created láti jẹ́ ká aráyé gbé. Ọláyọmí Kóìkì lórúkọ tèmi, and once again èmi ní ọjọ́ kẹfà nínú oṣù kẹta 2024. Mo kí ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ, mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Ilẹ̀ wa wọ́n nígbà mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́, gbogbo àwọn tó ń gbèrò pé kó gbalẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ látòkè délẹ̀, òyìnbó ni, aláwọ̀ funfun ni, dúdú ni, ọba ni, gbogbo wọn pátápátá àwọn onílẹ̀ òní fún yín ṣe. Thank you so much. Bye for now.